What if baseball were a cooperative sport? Let's talk about that. Folks, welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. Thanks for joining us. Last week we started a discussion, and now I don't even remember how we got to it, but we started talking about what if baseball were a cooperative game. So we kind of started giving some thought based on some cooperative games. There's cooperative board games out there, in case you didn't know. They're not all like Sorry, where you try to destroy each other off the board. Sorry, hashtag not sorry. Um, and but there are cooperative games out there, and some of them are quite fun and intense. And so we thought, what would if baseball were a cooperative game,
Mhm.
what would it look like? So I don't know if you got something straight off or you got some thoughts, but I'm gonna let you run with it here to start.
There are a lot of brain firings happening inside. I'm thinking about a lot of different cooperative games and approaches, even ones that have happened in effect in history, as well as ways you and I have played baseball,
Oh, okay. Yep.
and ways that you could maybe do it that's similar to different like board games or other cooperative type games.
hmm
So, uh, maybe we'll find some categories along the way. One category that I'm imagining is the teams against the field. Okay.
hmm
And so you and I did this a bit in our games where you imagine there's fielders, or perhaps we would create these indoor games where we got like stuffed animals,
hmm
little targets around. You hit it inside the flower vase, you get a triple.
hmm
You know, that kind of thing
Yeah.
where you could enhance that. I mean, we played that like two teams against each other, and we were both playing representing both teams.
hmm
With baseball cards or action figures or what have you. But you could do that with combined teams where you're working together to try and maybe you've got a field full of obstacles. Maybe you got a home run derby style or a skills challenge style where you're
hmm
trying to work together to defeat the field or the challenges that are set up on the field. You got to get a
Yeah.
certain number of points, or you got to make a certain number of things happen. You got to get X number of triples. You
hmm
got, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so the skills challenge or home run derby sort of then it doesn't become baseball anymore, right? So
Yeah, well, of course. So, I mean, if we are,
I mean, I'm thinking
we
about
had we had talked about this last time about this is a
when
little
does it
bit
be? Yeah, when
right.
does
This is a
yeah
little bit where this conversation came from is
yeah.
when is it baseball and when is it not baseball?
hmm Well, so yeah, in your context, I was thinking about in terms of like doing actual things, like somebody's pitching, somebody's hitting, somebody's fielding. So as opposed to like trying to hit a target or trying to do home run derby, which are certainly baseball adjacent activities. Those things happen.
They could include pitching.
The thing that I was thinking about is how wouldn't you have to sort of like do away with teams?
Would you?
And I mean, how does the team element sort of, so I mean that's part of it too, is like is there something you're keeping track of?
Mm. Yeah. So, well, a thought that just came to my mind was perhaps teams are constructed differently, not only in terms of like if you think about teams right now, the way
Mhm.
they're constructed is based on the way the game is played right now,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So you could conceive of like, I mean, let's just stick right now with imagining the play against the field scenario here,
Hmm.
right? Um, and you have, let's say you've got somewhat limited roster. Let's go 12-man roster.
Hmm.
And you and another team come together to try and defeat the field. And all the different fields have different challenges. And so constructing a certain team in a particular way might be good for one field, but might not be good for another.
Hmm.
And so then you're matching up with that other team to try and match strengths to defeat the field that you're playing on,
Hmm.
right? And so then in that case, you're building a team that has certain strengths or whatever. And so then there could be individual statistics and motivations for teams to be constructed in a certain way
Hmm.
that maybe is suitable to your field or what your fan base wants, um, or complements. Like if a bunch of teams have stacked lineups with home run hitters, maybe you stack your lineup with triples guys or something. Um, and so then you
Hmm.
like contact hitters, precision hitters, that kind of thing. So that would be an entirely different way of imagining rosters. And so probably if we're imagining any scenario that includes um, cooperative baseball. I mean, we're in the
Hmm.
land of absurdity right now, but
Hmm.
if we're imagining cooperative baseball, we're reimagining many, many things about baseball and probably fundamentally um, the way players play the game, which would mean you change the way
Hmm.
rosters are made.
So, so yeah, that makes sense. I had a thought. Um, Workup.
Workup.
Okay. So if you're not familiar with workup, basically you might have two, three guys at bat, one up on deck in the hole. And then you have fielders, you know, all the standard fielding positions. When the batter gets out, then they go to right field and they work their way through, and then you go right to center, center to left, left, third, so on and so forth. And you
Hmm.
kind of come through that way. Um, so one scenario could be here where I think this could actually work. So let's
Right.
say 12, 13 guys, okay, make workup.
Hmm.
You have to decide if you're doing like real pitching
Hmm.
or if you're doing like what I do for Sandlot is I'm just throwing batting practice fastballs, you're hitting it.
Yeah.
Probably actual pitching is a little more interesting. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
Batting practice fastballs feel like they can just kind of hit it wherever they want to, and I don't know if that's as exciting. But then you would just do the same thing that like we did when we were growing up, where um you just we would each hit three guys, and we just kind of go in that rotation, and if you get hits or whatever, and then you just play to three outs and you switch it, so on. So you could do something similar to that. Work up three outs, and you just kind of see what the result at the end of it would be.
Hmm.
So there wouldn't be a one team versus the other team scenario, except in sort of like a just in the way that you play it. Three outs, three outs, three outs, three outs.
Yeah, and with that also you could accumulate individual stats.
Yes. Yeah, you do the individual stats for sure. Um, would you have like so I suppose you could do that and you could have um like for the teams, would it be like um some way that maybe the kids or the fans put together a roster that's sort of like city focused, like the Pacific Northwest, maybe you have the animals versus whatever. So you have a team of now batting is the moose and the
Hmm.
bear and the salmon.
I
No,
suppose you could. Yeah, I mean it does open the door to like fan involvement in a different way for
mhm,
sure. Like you could even have um like fans go out and move around the different like way the field is set up,
yeah, yeah.
things like that.
Well, if you're doing more of a workup style, you
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
necessarily
workup
need that.
style, yeah, would be a different one. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, and even as we're talking, we're also already sort of naturally talking about degrees of cooperation. Because
Hmm.
if within workup, you're talking about does one person just throw batting practice fastballs,
Hmm.
or do you have live pitching? And if you have live pitching, you have an extra layer of competition right there,
Yeah.
where the pitcher is really working to get the batter out.
Hmm.
Um, where if you have just someone throwing balls in there that are easy to hit, you don't have that. But then at the same time, you also have fielders presumably earnestly trying to get the batter out.
Right. Hmm.
And so there is still a bit of competition layered in there as well, like
Hmm.
versus like head to head, it's not
Yeah.
cooperative in every sense.
Yeah, it's cooperative in the sense of outcome,
Yeah, and
for the final score.
it reminds me of how baseball was at one point in its history where pitching wasn't
Hmm.
a thing, really. It was like the pitcher's job was to throw it
Hmm.
exactly where the hitter wanted it.
Yeah.
And the hitter could take an unlimited number of pitches until they got the pitch they wanted.
Hmm.
And so, in that sense, it was cooperative.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the game was competitive from there. But the pitcher's job is to cooperate with
With the
the,
batter.
the whims of the batter.
Yeah. Which is wild to me. But
It is, but we're imagining
hmm.
different scenarios. And
Hmm.
yeah, of course, compared to what baseball is now, it would be different. But you gotta like
Yeah.
expand the brain a little bit here. This is thought experiments.
Your experiment of um the like skills challenge.
Hmm.
So I was thinking about that we have this game called Wildcraft.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Wildcraft?
No.
Yeah, Wildcraft is a cooperative game. You have a few players and you're climbing up this mountain and you have to get um eight um little pails, I guess, of blueberries, huckleberries, something like that.
Some kind of berry.
Some kind of berry at the top,
Hmm.
and then you got to come all the way back down. And so I think it's spinning a little thing to see how far you go. Maybe, yeah, I think so. Could be dice. But anyway, you move so many spaces and in those spaces there's like neutral spaces, but there's also like, and there's spaces where you like earn things that help you. Mostly what it is, so what you're earning is that you have um like dangers that pop up, and it's like twisted ankle or nausea or something like that. And the whole thing is to sort of teach you about like how different plants can help with these different ailments. So
Okay.
if you land on the thing, you have to have the one of the plants that deals with that issue, and if you do, then you can move on. But if you don't, then you got to stay there.
Hmm.
Then there's also like cooperative cards where you don't have the thing, but one of your players, or you have like this cooperative card, you can play that card and they can give you the the thing. So in terms of like a skills challenge or something like that, maybe you have if you're just sort of abandoning kind of traditional baseball, maybe there's some way to build that
Hmm.
type of a thing where you've got to hit these obstacles, and if you fail X number of times to get all the obstacles, then whatever it is, somebody doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
Billy Hamilton doesn't get paid.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can do that. So here, I'm gonna go in another category of cooperative baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one I could see. I could see this one because it would baseball would be the same.
Okay.
Any guess where I'm going here right now?
Baseball, would this be the same in terms of like outcomes and whatnot?
Yeah, like it'd be played.
Well,
Yeah, it'd be
what? No,
played. It would
no
be
playoffs.
no, 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 no.
Okay, I don't know.
It would be played the same.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Here we go.
Huh?
AI.
AI baseball.
No, yeah, you're playing against AI. This is like the chess, right? You're play like a grandmaster against AI.
Mm-hmm.
You got like AI robots on one team,
Okay.
and then you've got your team or and maybe another team with you trying to beat the AI robots. I mean, do you not see a future that includes robots?
No.
Us competing against robots that already exist, brother.
Robot. So right now, what it feels like in terms of AI, of how we're competing together, is to get umpires who can make calls correctly, particularly balls and strikes, because it is some nights you're just like, what am I watching? I mean,
Yeah.
I know, like, look, calling balls and strikes is hard, but it's your job. And some nights it's flat terrible. So there is cooperation to have AI to replace the umpires.
Yeah. Well, that's a different type of cooperation.
It is.
But it is in in a microcosm, in a micro way, that's what it would be like, right? You're
Yeah.
like competing against a like a third party. And I mean, in this case, in baseball, your example is human umpires. But um, but
So
we're talking like robots.
yeah, okay. So but then you got like you don't figure that a robot could throw like 600 miles an hour, could launch a ball like that. Who's hitting that?
Well, you would you would presumably need to build in some parameters
Hmm.
of how the AI plays. I mean, because you could theoretically, I mean,
It just go 100 miles an hour, dotting the upper inside corner.
yeah.
Who is hitting that?
Well, that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. Okay.
That's the challenge. So then
You
there
gotta
could be
just
there could be rules that are changed or adapted in certain ways that allow teams to cooperate in different ways to defeat the AI. Maybe it's like batting orders, or like maybe that you have to maintain your own batting order, but you could throw in the next person from the other team, or something like that. All
Mhm.
kinds of possibilities. But that's I feel like that's
stretching, bro. Is what it's
I
doing.
mean the cooperation part of it is a little bit, but I see a future that includes some level of playing sports against robots. I mean, there have been like
Hmm.
sports science things they had robots kicking field goals.
Yeah.
So it
Yep.
exists in some way right
Well,
now.
and like I don't know if you've seen this one, but Mark Rober, you
Yeah.
familiar with Mark Rober?
Yeah.
He did one on a wiffle ball.
Okay. I didn't see that one.
That was a good one because
Hmm.
so he like made he did a couple of um different things with his engineering that like one of them it was like impossible to hit because it would like no matter how you swung it would like avoid your bat kind of a thing. So so you got a human creating it,
Yeah.
but so this one has it's interesting. I mean, if anybody out there has an idea, I personally it feels like with knowing what we have now that the workup version
Hmm.
is maybe as close to in terms of like keeping baseball as close to what it is now, yet removing like team versus team in a
Hmm.
true sense.
Yeah.
Um, that might be the closest
Hmm.
to that. So, um, yeah, I mean, the thing is that even in that model, it does require um, like a level of honesty
Hmm.
because, let's say everybody's like, we hate Delaware. Delaware's got a team. Like, then they could just be like, throw the game.
They could.
So, but I don't know. At the same time, there's if you have if you have something to like reward individual performance or something, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this also gets at sort of the underpinnings of baseball and culture. Like you're really digging at the foundations here, right? Because
Hmm.
uh, baseball is rooted in this uh, win or lose mentality. I win because I'm better. You
Hmm.
lose because you're worse. And so then someone needs to prove they're better. But if that
Hmm.
uh, philosophy as a foundation didn't exist, then there's no motivation
Yeah.
to like throw a game or whatever because you're not trying to
Hmm.
establish some kind of dominance
Yeah.
in that way. So, I mean, it's a little bit
Hmm.
of a mind bender to think about because we operate in a world where the goal is to oftentimes to win,
Hmm.
be better,
Hmm.
even if it's be better than yourself, you know.
Hmm.
Be but oftentimes it's like the way we are viewed or our value
Hmm.
and our sort of like contribution to the world is based on uh, comparison to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
The per-
I'm gonna bring us back
okay.
toward the beginning of our conversation
Mhm.
about what is baseball,
Okay.
right? We're talking about these different uh, possible ways that baseball could be. And last week, and even early on this week, what's came up was, is that still baseball?
Mhm. Mhm.
And you put robots in the field. Is that still baseball?
Mhm.
Is baseball necessarily humans playing the sport? Um, and and there have been developments of the game over time,
Mhm.
and there have been people along the way. So that's not baseball anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think in the grand scheme, some of the like more recent controversial changes like replay, size of the bases,
Pitch
uh,
clock.
pitch clock, that kind of stuff, size of the
Mhm.
strike zone, those kind of things, um, are
Mhm.
really small in from my perspective on like sort of looking at what is baseball.
Mhm.
But there is a point. I know. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't explored
Mhm.
that. I haven't done the soul searching for myself yet.
Mhm.
I know, I know that for myself, there is a point at which if the game changed a certain amount,
Mhm.
I would say that's not baseball.
The
And
one oh go ahead.
so I'm curious about my own self. What is that line? I'm curious about you. I'm curious about our listeners hanging in there
Mhm.
toward the end of our show this week. You made it,
Mhm.
and I want to know at what point would
Mhm.
baseball cease to be baseball? Okay, take it away,
There's
brother.
one that gets thrown out there now and again that I don't think it would ever be seriously considered an MLB level. It's actually part of like the Savannah Bananas thing, but
Hmm.
one that I get hear like fans like, "Oh, I want this," and I would not like it even a little bit. Is the golden batter? Are you familiar with this?
The golden batter. This is like you can send
Yep.
anybody up at some point.
Your bottom of the ninth.
Hmm.
Yankees are batting. They're down one, and you got Anthony Volpe, who's in a slump. He's over his last 31, and he's struggling. And Aaron Judge isn't due up for four more batters, but you can go boom. I want to use my golden batter on Judge right here.
Yeah.
I would hate that so much. That would become not baseball to me. That I mean, that might be the thing. That's the thing that comes to mind right now. There's part of me that's like the pitch clock is not baseball in one sense. Like I like it and I don't, but like the experience of the fan became bad um, because of how the pitching was doing its thing.
Hmm.
Um, you know, pick off limitations and that kind of stuff, whatnot. Um, I've come, I'm fine with those. So they're not what I would wish that it to be,
Yeah.
but in what the game had, the pace had become was just, it was awful, bro. It was, it was,
Yeah.
it was in some sense, it was like baseball. It was, I don't know, it was almost like the ultimate, it had become the ultimate of analytics, like crashing in on itself.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like these things retain a bit of human. element because they require you to stay within, like, you have to respond to situations. And you can't just stand there in analytics for an unlimited period of time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, see, and as you talk about your line, the golden batter line,
it's what it is right now.
yeah, I mean, I would despise that rule. I'd be
Mhm.
right along with you in hating that rule. I don't think I would see that as not baseball though, because the game itself is
Sure.
still played exactly the same way.
Hmm.
Um, it adds a different strategic element, which is like, I mean, I don't want it. I don't want it
Hmm.
at all. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong here. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Let's be clear. But I wouldn't see that as not baseball. Speaking of Savannah Bananas,
Hmm.
something that I see as more not baseball than that
Hmm.
is it's an out if a fan catches a foul ball.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a fun quirk
It,
to the Savannah Bananas. It
yeah,
fits, it's great,
yeah,
but no, not in baseball. Not in like actual MLB baseball.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'll be with you there. That would be, yeah, because it's like a whole nother, it's a whole nother element that has nothing to do with the actual product on the field.
Hmm.
Plus, you get into a situation where I mean, you could legitimately have people like, I mean, that's like fan danger. That puts
Yeah,
fans at danger,
yeah,
like that would not be good.
yeah.
There's no scenario in which that's a good situation.
No,
So
well, perhaps we got some more exploring to do next week.
we do.
We'll
We may. We'll see where it takes us. Thanks for joining us and hanging with us. See you then.
s-